All right, welcome back. Now, for today's episode, I want to talk about the job search, job hunting. And I want to share my tips, my resources that have helped me land a new job. Okay. I got myself a work at home, fully remote job for the US. Okay. So, about 4 months ago, I decided that ultimately, I knew all along that the pet care company I was working for was never going to be a good option for the long haul. And while pet care is hugely rewarding to me personally, at the end of the day, the owner of the company is toxic and she and I do not mesh. So I had been formulating an exit strategy so that I could just eventually, say, listen, this is going to be my last day and I'm out. But I didn't want to do it in haste because then I would have had to rely on being just a delivery driver, and that would have put more financial strain on me, and I would have fought that. I would have resisted that. So I just bought my time and started to really figure out how to get my resume well written and more marketable and more competitive and more current. And I don't mean current in my job experience. I mean, while that is a factor, I mean more current in the feel of the resume, the format, everything like that. So, um I used, I took my old resume and went on a site called My Perfect Resume. I found this website maybe 7 or 8 months ago, actually. It was when I just said, I'm going to update my resume with the current work experience. And at the time, I did pay for the service. It was about $20 for the month, and you pay every month. And it does offer you like a lot of templates and stuff like that. But what I quickly realized afterwards, like you can even have an electronic like website. You can have a website resume kind of thing, like a portfolio resume. So they do offer you a lot of uh, features, but at the end of the day, I didn't really need that. So I found a way that you can use the resume builder part of that site and not pay to have the templates, not pay to use the templates or to actually download it. So My Perfect Resume, if you type in a job title, it will spit out descriptions for you to add as bullet points. It does the writing for you. And I would recommend using that over something like Chat GPT, because Chat GPT will generate hallucinations. Those are what are termed, those are basically the lies that Chat GPT will construct. And even though they sound good and they sound valid, it will completely fabricate something. So Chat GPT is prone to hallucinations. So you could certainly plug in your job history or whatever and see what Chat GPT spits out for you, but you might find that you end up having to edit it a lot more. Whereas My Perfect Resume really has excellent bullet points that it recommends. And all you need to do is once it gives you the ones that you want and you just select them, it populates in the job description. You just copy and paste it. What I then did, because I actually have a Canva account that I have the Pro Canva, but you can get a free Canva account for life. You don't have to pay for Canva Pro. You can use Canva for free. Canva has everything on there, and they have resume templates, and they have free resume templates that are excellent. I personally, like I said, I have the Pro edition, so I picked a resume that was a 2-column format because I like to keep my resume one page, simple, straight to the point. So up at the top is my name and my name, okay? And then on the left-hand side is a smaller column that has my contact info, my skills, and my certifications. On the right-hand side, it has my professional summary, and then below that, my job history. You do not go back more than 10 years. There's no need for you to go back more than 10 years. If you have education that's not current, do not put the graduation dates on them, okay? Doesn't matter. Don't put it on there. You don't want to age yourself in any way, shape, or form. When you're putting your skills on your resume, focus on only your hard skills, because your soft skills are going to come through in the resume, and they're going to expect that you're going to have these soft skills, okay? This is something I need to change on my resume. So keep it focused on your hard skills that are what are making you qualified for the job you are applying for, okay? Now, I've also used TikTok quite a bit because there is a enormous wealth of information from recruiters, HR people, interviewers, all kinds of people that are giving information and suggestions and help and tips and pointers on nailing your interviews and getting your resumes looked at and seen and everything. So you want to look up things if you use TikTok. I mean, some people don't like TikTok or whatever like that. Some people stay off social media. That's, I'm on social media. So I have found TikTok to be a wealth of resources and information on like what to say in the interview, how to answer certain questions, like questions over the years that have always tripped me up and I've never been prepared for answering. And these people will tell you, this is how you answer this question. And when the interviewers ask you, do you have any questions for me? How do you proceed with that? Because you should have questions for your interviewer as well. So all of these things are covered by a lot of different people. Like I said, hiring managers, HR people, recruiters, and everyone in between. Okay. There's a wealth of information. So it may be beneficial for you to look up on TikTok different job searches. You have to also work on your mindset. If you're coming into your job hunt in a position where you feel you're unqualified or inferior or you're too old or whatever, you're never going to be able to compete against millennials and just millennials, you need to work on that first and foremost, okay? There was stuff that I needed to work on that I was like, oh, because I am of a certain age. So, there is this thing of ageism. That's why I'm saying you want to make sure, like, if you are somewhat older, take off like I said, don't put graduation years on there. They don't need to know that. They don't need to know it. Okay. Don't put anything on your resume that's going to disqualify you without them even looking at your skills. Okay. Just don't do it. And that's why I'm saying, like, having a current style of resume, a more, current, up to date kind of style that they're looking for. Like, don't put objective on your resume because that will date you. You want to put professional summary. This is what I have, and this is how it's going to serve me getting a job in this industry or this job in this job title. That's how you look it up, how to do professional summary, but you don't want to do anything that your objective is to get a job and da 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 da. No. My perfect resume, like I said, you do not have to pay for it. Of course, if you find that the templates on there are great, by all means do it. But like I said, with Canva, I appreciate Canva so much more because, first of all, Canva will save your creations. Anything you create, any design you create on Canva, it will live there forever, okay? And you can always go in and edit it at any time. And you can save the resume form in doc form or PDF. I choose PDF because, it's just, that's the format I like. And I'm always tweaking my resume. So I'm always making changes as I'm getting new tips and as I'm rethinking things. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I have to go in and edit my skills. So I'm going to do that later. And as I gain more certifications, that's going to be a new skill. That's going to be a new certification that's added to my education experience, section. So all these things are constantly like I want to know that I can just open it up and edit and download a fresh copy and always have it. I also recommend being on LinkedIn. So I'm sure many of you are on LinkedIn, but if you're not, I highly recommend it. And if you have the means, I recommend paying for LinkedIn Premium because LinkedIn Premium will give you access to tons of courses. They a few years ago bought lynda.com and it's now called LinkedIn Learning. You can learn anything on there as far as work skills. So if you need to learn customer service skills, if you want to learn to be a a project manager, whatever the case may be, you want to be a scrum master, you want to learn accounting basics, you want to learn business basics, you want to learn entrepreneurship, anything, you can learn new skills and you can get certifications for them. You're paying for the service. I don't know how much weight these certifications really have in the job market, but it's going to show that you have initiative and drive to constantly be learning. And that's something that you want to show, that you have a thirst for knowledge and you're always gaining new skills and bettering yourself at current, your current skill set. So that's a good thing. It's like $42 a month for that, and that's ongoing, monthly, but I find it incredibly beneficial and useful for myself. The other thing is if let's say you want to change industries. I want to get into tech. So while I'm technically I have a job now like in a financial admin kind of job, which is, it's not really tech, but it's not tech, but it's a job that I can do from home. I don't have to go out for 8 to 10 hours a day all over the place, making myself tired, putting all kinds of miles on my car and wear and tear on my car. I can sit at home in peace and work. And that was my objective, that I wasn't working 2 and 3 jobs to make my ends meet, to pay my bills, and I'm still not better off financially 9 months after I've moved out of my place where I was living. You see what I'm saying? So this was something that was a stepping stone to get me from so this is job A to get me to job B, to fulfill things that I wanted, as far as not having to run out all day, run around with like a chicken with my head cut, which saves me a lot of energy, like all of that. I know where I am, so I know I'm going to be not using as much energy and be in the house all day. So that's a big thing. But ultimately, like I said, I know that I'm going to be able to pay my bills. I'm going to be able to tackle certain things. And in the meantime, it's a certain amount of time a day. It's not open-ended. It's a regular schedule, Monday through Friday, and I know what's expected of me, and I don't have to do overtime. I don't have to worry about, am I going to meet my daily goal of money, because that is a lot of stress financially. Okay. And then it alleviates the executive functions so that I can then focus on learning a new skill. Okay. So what I was getting at is that if you really truly want to maybe go into a completely different industry, if tech appeals to you, there's several different ways. Okay. I've already tried certain ways and I realized that I was struggling with certain things. But what I would recommend, again, it's you pay for it on a monthly basis, but it's a finite amount of time where Google has certain certification courses that are 3 to 6 months, $49 a month. And like I said, they for 6 months. So that's like $300 for the course. And you can complete it within 3 to 6 months. You probably can complete it sooner if you wanted to, but you want to make sure that you're going to retain all that information in the course. So I think they have about 6 different courses. And again, this is Google that is offering these courses through Coursera. And, I've seen a lot of people poo-poo on things on the internet and like, oh, you're not going to be able to get a good job. Listen, at the end of the day, these courses are being put out by Google themselves. They're going through Coursera. They're being instructed by Google employees, people that are currently working for Google in the field that they are teaching. So I don't think Google is just going to put these courses together just to waste your time. They're trying to get you prepared for entry level positions in tech. And I believe that it's a good option. If you want to get a decent paying job, you may not be fully skilled in a certain whatever, in any, like you might not have higher skills. This is a good option for you. And of course, LinkedIn, you can learn anything, which is complementary to what you may be learning. Do what you need to do, okay? You can learn about anything uh, between the two sites. But I'm mentioning Coursera more because that one is actually readying you for certification, right? Because with certain industries in tech, you have to be certified in that specific field. So that's the end game. Whereas, the LinkedIn Learning, that's like, those are secondary skills, secondary hard skills that I'm constantly adding onto my resume. So this ultimately is going to help you be a more competitive candidate, okay? And you got to get your mind right. Before you go into this, you got to fight all of that self-talk that will make you feel that you're not going to be able to get the better paying job. You're not going to be able to get the job you want. And, that ultimately, if you're working on your frequency, you're working on your neutrality and all of that, this should be pretty much a breeze. I've applied to a lot of jobs. I'm going to also post on my site the different job boards that I've used over the last few months to put resumes out and just, kind of just apply. And know that you're going to get rejected a lot. Okay. You may, depending on what site you see, you might see that maybe thousands of people have applied to a job. It doesn't matter, because most of those companies do have enough courtesy to send you something saying you've either been accepted or they've chosen somebody else. But at least it gives you that respect, and you can just whatever. And ultimately, you just apply, and you don't get emotionally attached to any one particular job. And I know that's easier said than done. And I know that there were a couple of disappointments that I've had along my way, jobs that I really would have liked, and I kind of was holding on and hoping for the best, and they fell through for whatever reason, and it didn't let it get me too broken up. Okay. I had 3 opportunities on the table at once. And when you have those many options, if not more, if you got 2 to 3 options in front of you, it definitely sets you up to feel more confident about your prospects. Okay. You absolutely can do this. And, if you want to make more money, that's another thing, because sometimes people feel, well, I'm not qualified to make more money. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Now, I'm not saying that like what I'm working at right now is like incredible money, but it is about $12,000 more a year than any other job that I've landed in the past. I mean, as a single job, not having to work two jobs. Okay. So I've actually finally broken that glass ceiling that I was held behind for years with this, with my mindset change. So you have to really get a hold of your mindset. And